And a very good evening to one and all from the harbour city of Sydney, putting on its prettiest face for your night round, the rebuilt Allianz Stadium, the perfect venue for one of the A-League's biggest fixtures. The 39th Sydney Derby, or 40th if you include their solitary Australia Cup meeting, and the feeling is there as much as ever it was. On a weekend when there's a feast of football in Sydney, this is the main meal. Round one produced a third consecutive win for Sydney FC. A fourth would equal the Derby record, something the Wanderers will be anxious to avoid. But they can take heart from the fact that all three of their most recent Derby successes have come here at Allianz Stadium, and that since that opening weekend success, Sydney FC have lost 4 out of 5 in all competitions. The red and black arrive here having finally got the monkey off their backs in winning a home match, which they did, of course, against the Newcastle Jets last weekend. And their away form in recent seasons has been generally good. And of course, they'll also have the backing of thousands of their fans inside the ground as they look to end the Sky Blues' recent dominance in this fixture. Another busy week in store for Sydney FC. They head off to Hong Kong to compete in the Asian Champions League 2 on Thursday. But before that, it's about taking care of local business, local pride at stake, as the players take to the field for one of the marquee fixtures in the competition. This is the Sydney Derby. So here's the team news. 3 changes for Sydney, which includes the return of both Joe Lolley and marquee man Douglas Costa after injury. Aaron Gerd replaces the suspended Hayden Matthews. He's played just 7 minutes of A-League football in the last 12 months. Anas Wahim drops down to the bench, a bench that also includes the fit-again Corey Holman. Anthony Caceres starts after playing 90 minutes in Bahrain with the Socceroos on Wednesday morning, our time. 2 changes for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Oscar Priestman comes into midfield to face his former club in place of the injured Josh Brillante. While in goal, there's a first start of the season for Lawrence Thomas, who's finally good to go after injury. Nicholas Milanovic is the A-League's joint top scorer with 4. Anthony Pantazopoulos again continues at left-back ahead of Jack Clisby. Juan Mata is once more on the bench, alongside former Marconi striker James Temelkovski, who stands by for his Western Sydney Wanderers debut. Well, the Wanderers in their change strip, and the masked man is back, perhaps to haunt Sydney FC once again. He scored twice in the derby, Zach Sapsford, against his former employers, of course. This is a fixture that really brings out the best in him, and of course in them as well. There's Anthony Caceres, fresh from Socceroos duty, along with his club colleagues Ryan Grant and Hayden Matthews, who's out through a ban today. And Andrew Redmayne has played in this derby fixture for both the Sky Blues and the Red and Black. Talking of keepers, how good is it for Wanderers fans to see their regular number 1 back between the sticks? And wearing the captain's armband as well, Lawrence Thomas. The stadium continuing to fill as we tick down towards kick-off. Won't quite be a sellout, but they are going to make one heck of a noise for this derby. And the weather has been pretty warm in Sydney today as well, and it's cooled as evening has come along. Perfect conditions for A-League football. is Upitale, whose first home match in charge of Sydney was this fixture, which the Wanderers won 1-0, but he's 3 from 3 since. And a win tonight will put Sydney back in the top 6. Alan Stajic lost his unbeaten derby record in round 1, albeit a record that was built in the A-League women's competition during his days with Sydney FC. He'll be keen to put one over his former employers tonight. And the referee is Daniel Elder, closing in on 100 A-League matches, but taking charge of his first ever Sydney derby. And the match ball being delivered by the Isuzu Mini D Max. All the pre-game formalities almost out of the way. And the driver of that little vehicle has done his job superbly. Off it goes, and we are ready for the football. To a rather noisy backdrop. Borello, another one who's fresh back from Socceroos duty, where he had a hand in Australia's late equaliser against Bahrain. And tonight it's local pride at stake. 90 minutes of intensity ahead, no doubt. The old saying is that the form book goes out of the window come derby day. Who do you fancy might emerge as victors tonight, Daniel McBreen?
Well, that's a great question, Simon. As you say, form can go out the window. Eastern Sydney in great form last time out. A couple of inclusions back into the squad. Some big names for Sydney FC as well. Plenty of talk about the golfing this week, but I can tell you, the atmosphere down on sideline, could not hear Tristan McManus talking about half a yard away from me. It is electric down there, and I'm sure the players are loving it.
Yeah, it's been teeing off, to coin a phrase, for the last hour or so. The Wanderers have the game's first corner in front of the Cove, who are delighted to see Douglas Costa back in their starting 11 today. A chance for the Wanderers to put some pressure on, perhaps in the opening minutes. Shakluna rolling it short for Milanovic, who drives it in towards the near post. And if that was a training ground move, it wasn't that far away from coming to fruition.
He found himself some space there. Novelis comes across, look, he just loses his marker, and he's almost free on that front post area, just couldn't wrap the leg around it. Early warning sign for Sydney FC.
Redmayne wanting to go long. Kamala in to throw. Popovic, touched by Caceres. Senna's ball back wasn't accurate enough. Sam Sapsford looked as though he might have been offside. The ball has gone out anyway for a throw.
Well, it was close, wasn't it? It's a high line that Sydney like to keep. They'll be trimming the line, the tightrope. They want to keep leaving a lot of spacing behind. And Borello, Sapsford will run into those spaces. Timing right, you see the heavy challenge there from Milanovic.
Little thump in the back of Leo Senna. Here's Aaron Gerd. Maybe showing some early signs of rustiness. Long layoff from football, initially through a broken leg. Ball's gone out on that far touchline. Interesting selection of Aaron Gerd. He did get some minutes in a friendly against MacArthur to Sydney, but of course Jordan Courtney Perkins can play in the centre as well, alongside Alex Popovic, with Joel King able to slot in at left back. It's a big show of faith in Aaron Gerd.
Yeah, speaking to some of the Sydney staff, saying that in pre-season he was doing well until the injury came. He's obviously done enough to have the Tale say, right, your day, go and show us what you can do.
Milanovic first time. Popovic got goal side quickly, and Zach Sapsford Morello. Straight into Caceres. One back though by the Wanderers. Back through Alex Bonnetti. Friesman. Jonte Wook. Comfortable for Aaron Gerd. And Senna. Courtney Perkins. Offside flag. Bring that attacking move to a close. Disappointment for Patrick Klimala.
You can see there, you can see across the line. No need to go so early. Just a metre too early.
Patrick Klimala, who scored the winner in the round 1 derby in Parramatta. Wanderers have got a bit of confidence after that 4-1 win over the Jets last week. And there's room out here on the left for Anthony Pantazopoulos. He didn't quite get through for Sapsford. Sydney are not out of the woods yet. Tryav readjusting. Taking the ball back over from his teammate Gabriel Clerc. Cross steered away by Gerd. Morello, offside. It's got caught as the Sydney FC defence pushed up. Hugh Fenton White with the flag and the rather splendid moustache.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Finally quaffed.
It's not November, that's all year round.
Play, the giant figure of Jonte Wook. Part of his responsibility, if I can get the word out, be to keep tabs on Patrick Klimala. Sydney, of course, after having to juggle 2 different competitions, which is perhaps by the likes of Max Burgess and Pat Wood are not involved in the squad today.
Well, it's a heavy load with the travel, isn't it?
Talking of which, here's Ryan Grant, who's travelled halfway across the world to play his 32nd Sydney derby. Lolly will weave his way through. Good for Sydney to have both Joe Lolly and Douglas Costa back in their starting 11 tonight.
Well, I'm sure all Sydney FC fans, when they saw the starting lineup, were over the moon with that. Any questions around whether that man in particular, Costa, would be ready for today? So much talk and hype around his arrival in one matchup. And they're eager to see him at his best.
Good. Entering forward briefly. Caceres. Good once again. Popovic, the option square. He was trying to keep their shape. Popovic sidestepping Sapsford to open up a little bit of space here for Caceres to advance into. Just put his pass behind Klimala. Disappointing that for Sydney. They've worked the opening quite nicely. Yeah,
he was in good position there, Anthony Caceres. And him running forward with the ball, just a little misunderstanding. A little exchange with Klimala after the fact, just telling him he wanted him to peel off and open up the space rather than run across the line.
The boys reverberating around Allianz Stadium. Fans that were here for the earlier game between Brisbane and Adelaide have stayed as well. There's Lolly. That'll be a goal kick. The English winger. Here's the Wanderers fans, way to our right. Grant in the air, helped on by Lolly. Marler just off balance. Steadied down by Popovic. And now Caceres. Perkins. Used the body well to draw the contact from Milan Chicluna. Quite sure what the problem is, by the way, with Josh Volante tonight. All we know is that he's picked up an injury. So it's Priestman and Chicluna in the midfield role centrally for the Wanderers. Lolly linking up with Douglas Costa, who's going for the return. There is Oscar Priestman to clear the danger for now for the Wanderers.
Well, it was a timely intervention, wasn't it? Yeah. So he was just looking to lay it off for the first time strike. Had to be patient, Sydney FC. It's been a press full of energy from Western Sydney.
Douglas Costa, I think his brain was a bit quicker than Jordan Courtney-Perkins there. Unsurprising for a man with his CV. Zopoulos, the Wanderers who have played through the press well there. Bryant away down the left. Defenders to deal with. Senna got in his path, the Wanderers claiming obstruction. Daniel Elder not interested. Pryor scrapping to get the ball back. Final touch was off the Bulgarian.
That's the non-foul in question. Good battle brewing on that side of the field.
Let's quickly go down and say good evening to Tristan McManus, who's sidelined for us. Tris.
This is unreal. I've sat in the crowd, obviously, for a derby before, but I've never been on the sideline, and it's unreal. It's electric down here. Obviously, there's been 4 games played on this pitch, so it's looking a little bit like me Granny's frayed carpet in the living room. But I'm not going to be at a City derby and talking about grass. Derby should be played on gravel and concrete and hot burning coals, and this one will. It's going to be a great game. The atmosphere is unreal. It really is. This is the show-stopping game that we've been waiting for, and we're getting it.
Oh, Tris, you're a poet and you don't know it.
Oh, he knows it. I love it.
Molly going first time. This time it's Costa, who wasn't quite up to speed. Molly again. Nice interplay between the two imports, and a cut from Costa, or rather from Lolly, didn't quite have the legs to get through. But promising for the Sky Blues.
Yeah, lovely one-touch football, and it was inches away from just getting past the outstretched leg of Priestman.
2 good interventions already by Oscar Priestman. Forward by Grant, but a little slip by Adrian Segacic. So far, that's an early chance for Anthony Pantazopoulos' side. Really too much work for either keeper. Sarah's able to turn and fire it forward. Douglas Costa is there, but so too is Lawrence Thomas for the Wanderers.
Well, he got it right, didn't he, Lawrence Thomas? Douglas Costa, a size 12 boot on there. He was getting a touch over the top.
Just wonder whether he was wary of stretching too much for it, given that he's had hamstring trouble. It's a 50-50 that became a 60-40 in favour of the goalkeeper. That's clever from Senna. Sand wedge over the top. Grant's got a nudge from Cryer, free kick Sydney. He doesn't think there was too much in it, but Daniel Elder clearly saw it. Quarter of an hour played at Allianz. Sydney, for all their neat approach play, yet to create a meaningful opportunity. Maybe now is the moment. Work it short through Costa, now Lolly. Caceres, it's neat football. Segacic goes near post. Just cut across the ball. Fraction too much. But it is a shot for Sydney.
Well, Sydney FC's playmakers are starting to give the impression that they're getting into their groove, aren't they? Caceres, Costa, Lolly, kicking the ball around well. Segacic on that occasion just dragged his shot. They're just starting to bop that ball around, that Western Sydney press.
Just flicked off the head of Jordan Courtney Perkins. Quickly taken throw in for the Wanderers, and they could get in here behind. Goodness me, that was a timely intervention from Courtney Perkins. Corner awarded when she protests, but Milanovic's pace very nearly got in around the back.
Well, he gave him about 5 metres start, didn't he? And he almost got there. Just got on the end of it, Courtney Perkins.
First corner the Wanderers had in the game, they went close to opening the scoring. Variation on the theme this time. That post is Borrello. Here's Sapsford, who set himself nicely. The ricochet could favour the Wanderers. Oh, over the bar it goes. Deary me, Alex Bonneting with a chance to score a first ever A-League goal.
Well, I thought that must have taken a deflection the way it's gone over. Great strength there from Jonte Walk. The turn and swivel from Bonnetic.
It was Cryer actually.
Cryer, yes, well, he has to be hitting the target there. Does well on the turn and just gets his foot underneath the ball as he's leaning back. And that's an opportunity missed. Good strength again from Jonte Walk.
Wanderers have had the game's 2 best opportunities. And they've got the bit between their teeth here. Borrello doesn't really need motivating on Derby Day or any other day. Milanovic. That's a shot from a long way out. Courtney Perkins made the block. And then there's a foul by Pantazopoulos. Things starting just to heat up a notch in the derby.
Well, if the crowd could get any more into it, they are. The decibels have gone up a little again.
balance from Anthony Caceres. The reasons why that Socceroos call-up came eventually. The age of 32. Here he is back on the ball again. Costa. Lovely, crisp, short passing from Sydney. Segicic. Thought about Courtney Perkins on the back post. Costa. Popovic. Little triangles again, Sydney. Senna. It's a good read initially by Shikluna. Sydney have it back through Caceres. Costa. I think he was looking for Klimala to sort of pull off his defender and just peel away to the back post.
Similar to what Caceres said to him earlier as well. Go away to come back in on it. Sydney FC enjoying knocking the ball around, particularly down this right-hand side. Little triangle of Caceres, Lolly and Costa.
A little coming together between Morello and Segicic. Truly untoward. Morello with time to bring the ball down on the chest. Switch of direction from Kantasopoulos. Manovic. Got that first ever senior hat-trick last week, of course, against Newcastle Jets. Great start to the season. Best clearance from Thomas, but one back by Gabriel Clerc. He's in position for the return. He's just clipped there. Nice set up. Just beyond the stretching boot of Pantasopoulos. He's more normally a central defender by trade, but he's got the nod ahead of Jack Clisby at left back. 2 weeks in a row now. It's quiet behind the goal of Andrew Redmayne, by the way, at the moment. Cove all sat down. I'm sure it won't last for too long. Part of the great choreography of the active groups. Not sure great is a word that you can describe that ball upfield from Andrew Redmayne, though.
But as we get to the halfway mark of the first half, Simon, Sydney FC with the majority of possession, but it's been Western Sydney with the better of the chances.
Crieff to reel this one in. Wanderers throw. Ryan Grant say that's twice you made the wrong call, ref.
Well, there's plenty of feeling out there, isn't there? Every decision is contested, argued.
Crieff. It's great feat from Joe Lolly to get himself and Sydney FC out of a tight spot. That's why Ufitale wanted him back in the team. Cove now back on their feet. Wanderers back on the ball. Shikluna. Sapsford. He doesn't need a second invitation in this fixture.
Well, rather like Segicic at the other end, he just dragged across his shot. See there, Senna asking for the foul. The other says no, thank you. Sapsford, he just drags it across the face of the goal.
probably a fair summation of how it's gone in the opening 24 minutes. As you rightly said, Naka, Sydney with some eye-catching football, but Wanderers with the chances. It's a really good steal back from Milanovic, and he slaloms through like a skier going through the gates before he's brought to ground. Lovely football from Milanovic.
Fucking dog! Fucking simulation!
Well, you can hear what Ufuk-Talay thinks it's simulation. Ryan Grant agrees with him. We'll have to turn the mic effects down, I think.
The crucial thing is, though, Maka, what are your thoughts on the matter?
I thought there was some contact.
Caceres overran it, and he was reaching. Card here, just a yellow. Just lost control of the ball there, Caceres, and as he stretched for the ball, he connected with his opponent.
I think it was more clumsy rather than malicious. You see there a heavy touch, and he's just trying to win, and it's just a little late.
Dylan Shikluna feeling the full weight of it. Yeah, I think a yellow's the right decision.
Yeah. There's no real studs up, was there? Maybe you could say he was not in control a little bit as he lunged in, but
first yellow card of the derby. Sapsford is playing with that face mask for some time now. Not wondering just how much that affects a player's vision.
I'm sure it's, in this day and age, manicured perfectly to fit his face. Doesn't seem to affect him in any way. Still not afraid to stick his head in anywhere, is he? Brave some of the challenges.
A goal last week against the Jets as well. Shikluna trying to get his own back. Douglas Costa was the collateral damage.
It just feels to be a little bit of niggle starting to creep in. A few choice words.
I'm not sure Shikluna did too much wrong there, to be honest.
That's on stage, it's just saying that. It's our free kick. Well, we said each decision was being argued and contested. Well, the coaches are having a little conversation about it down there on the sideline, leading by example.
Yeah, talking at rather than to Tim Danaskos, the fourth official, who's got to play sideline referee. Is it the worst job in football, the fourth?
It has to be, surely.
Just get constant earache for 90 minutes, don't you?
You'd have to put the headphones on, wouldn't you, and just blank it out.
Sydney FC get the verdict this time. It's rather more straightforward. Clear shove on centre by Priestman. Typical derby fare. Nicely done by Shikluna. By the way, was called up for the full Maltese national squad during the recent window. It's going to be another free kick, this time against Gabriel Clare. In a rather more central position. Dylan Shikluna, by the way, didn't end up going to play against Liechtenstein. He picked up a bit of an ankle problem. Looks like his first full cap isn't too far away for country of his heritage. Wanderers have got more important things to think about defending this free kick. Sarah's, Lolly or Costa? Which one will it be? It's going to be Douglas Costa. And Thomas was confident enough in the fact that he had all the angles covered.
Well, it's hit pretty well. And I think Thomas, he was so casual, had a little bit of this Western Sydney supporters behind him, a little worried.
Segicic keeping the ball in play. And the back out for Courtney Perkins. Costa. A stumble on the surface, which rather brought to a close that attacking move for Sydney. Just on a knife edge, you sense. This is Klimala running into the channel. Support from Segicic. Courtney Perkins. No-look pass for Segicic. Sydney getting the passing going. And final touch. This time off Costa. No kick.
It was a nice run. Douglas Costa. See the centre with the little reverse. I think Costa trying to kid the referee there and make out that that contact was a little more than it was.
Antisopoulos, did he look where his teammates were? Fortunately for him, Monatigas won the ball back. Borrello. Ball's like a hot potato at the moment. Sydney have got a man down injured just for now. Joe Lolly continues into the box. Segicic come rather gingerly to his feet. Took fairly heavy contact there from Borrello. Center. Brisbane in pursuit. Grant. Clever ball by Caceres. Lolly. Like for Costa. It's the best ball for Ryan Grant. Good take out of the clear Sydney evening sky by Jordan Courtney Perkins. Sydney can get going again. Segicic. Oh, and it didn't find Costa. Or Lolly does second time around. Sydney hit the front. It's Joe Lolly on his return to the Sydney FC starting lineup. And he plays a goal shot in celebration. A little nod to the fact that he took some stick this week for playing golf with the Wanderers players. That's his response, and Sydney FC lead.
Well, you've got to love the celebrations, but you've also got to love the lead-up play on the Harvey Norman replay. That ball there, it just falls behind, but he's aware for the second rebound. Plays a little ball in behind. It's strong work from Segicic, and then the run continues in. And he thinks it's gone. And as the ball comes out off the shot from Klimala, he's there to react, Joe Lolly. And he has the simplest of tasks to knock it into the empty net.
And there's the straight drive. Just for emphasis. It's his 20th goal in the Isuzu UTE A-League men's competition. And they don't come sweeter than in a derby. And credit to Adrian Segicic as well for his role in the goal. VAR has completed all the checks. And the Wanderers, if they're to take anything from this game, will have to come from behind. situation, of course, as befell them in round one when Ollie opened the scoring in Parramatta. Costa. Gonna have a go here, Douglas Costa. It just took a deflection on the way through. It's going to be a Sydney FC corner, and the Wanderers have to stand firm in the face of this sky blue assault.
Well, what a treat it is for Sydney FC to have these two back in the team, and it's the movement there again from Joe Lolly, the little run that creates the space for Douglas Costa to drive inside and get the shot away.
Front of the red and black block. Sydney's corner, work short. Cheeky little back heel from Costa. Lolly. And the Wanderers looking to launch a counter. Borello. Held up initially by Senna. Borello was going to try for the big crossfield switch to pick out Satsford instead. Committed the foul, and now there's a little bit going on between him and Costa, and this could all kick off big style here. We've got two players down at the moment, and Daniel Elder has to keep a watching brief on all of this and decides ultimately what action to take.
Well, right in the middle of that, I think it was Klamala or Courtney Perkins on, maybe it was Klamala. There was two heads came together. Now it all starts here. Yeah, Senna does well, gets his body in the way, draws the foul. It's all simple there. There's the little, maybe a little too much.
And then Brendan Borello offering Douglas Costa to come and fight him. Well, they wouldn't even pass as featherweights.
Now just watch here in the background. Klamala and nothing there for me either. Heads come together, but there's no movement. I think there's a bit of play acting going on from a couple of players out there.
Daniel Elder is going to take his time. Keith Benton White explaining the situation. And he wants a word with Costa and with Borello. Well, things always likely to bubble over on Derby Day. Yellow for Borello and yellow for Costa. Let's have a look at this alleged headbutt there. I don't know whether there's a huge amount in that, but you do run the risk when you dangle your neck out.
Yeah, look, I think the heads were put together. Do we want to see that? No. Was there enough for Skitchluna to go to the ground? No. And I think sanity has prevailed. Yellow card each, and we get on with it.
Douglas Costa, of course, has missed the last 3 games since the round 1 derby with that hamstring problem. Little shades of Bessart Berisha and Pascal Boscards in all of that. Berisha saying, come on, let's take it outside.
It's a 20-year anniversary. We want to look back at all the things that make our league great. Bessart Berisha was definitely one of them, and now we've got another challenge.
This time, Gabriel Pleur on Costa. And this is tough for the referee. He's got to keep a lid on all this while simultaneously trying to let the game flow.
Yeah.
Tensions are so high on Derby Day. I mean, it's missed times. Yeah, it's a foul.
It's a foul, and that's it.
It's a real test of the referee's mettle, isn't it? Taking charge of a derby. When emotions running at fever pitch. Second Sydney goal here really would put the cat among the pigeons. Going to be Costa's delivery. Angle back towards Segicic. That's a training ground move. That needs a bit more work. And Western Sydney Wanderers break clear. Chicluna for Sapsford on the overlap. Back post is Priestman. And Sydney FC just about sorted out. Credit to the goalkeeper and Joe Lolly. Redmayne's come off worst. It was desperation stuff for Sydney as they backtracked furiously.
Well, it was slick, quick movement. And look, at Sapsford there, has a look, and that's a wonderful ball in. Brave defending. Joe Lolly, Andrew Redmayne come together heavily.
Yeah, Andrew Redmayne absolutely flattened by some friendly fire, but when he recovers, I'm sure he'll be the first to say well done to Joe Lolly. Harrison Devonish-Mears, by the way, going through some limbering up exercises on the sideline just in case.
Well, wonderful scenes from the drone. As we have another look at the goal. And it's Joe Lolly who plays the ball forward. Good strength from Segicic. But look at the run from Joe Lolly there. And as it goes behind, he's first to react. Gets a little fortuitive there. But it was him who started it. And him who finished it. And the celebration to boot. And you got to love that. Plenty of talk around the activities during the week. Why not just give a little bit back? And he goes from the wonderful stuff he does at that end to some real defensive work at the other.
Yeah, it's a sign of a top player, isn't it? That doesn't shirk their defensive duty. Milos Ninkovic, who preceded him in the number 10 role, number 10 jersey with Sydney FC, and of course latterly the Wanderers, is very similar in his work ethic. Andrew Redmayne, a little bit worse for wear on the back of all that. It's going to take more than that, I fancy, to keep him out of the derby. Harrison Devonish-Mears' A-League debut might have to wait just a touch longer. He's got to get his concentration and focus back straight away. Still the corner to defend for Sydney. Getting rid of one of our effects mics. Careful with that, Nick. That costs a lot of money. Whipped in towards the near post. It breaks here for Sapsford. Shut down by Segicic.
Well, it's been an entertaining game, Simon. We're approaching half-time. Only had the one shot on target in the whole match.
It's the one that counts. Pantazopoulos launches the long throw. Oh, good, having to strain every sinew there. Forward by Lolly. It's a clean tackle from John Taywalk. Such big boots to fill for the Korean after the departure of Marcelo.
And I was critical of him in the first couple of matches where I didn't think he was being physical enough and aggressive. And I think he's really addressed that last week and tonight as well. The last match, I should say. He's really stepped that up, dominating strikers, winning challenges in the air, on the ground.
Is on here, but Ryan Grant still sprightly at 33. Initially, Daniel Elder gave Sydney FC the throw, but he's changed his mind.
Well, he keeps messing with Ryan Grant, doesn't he? He's not happy.
There'll be another long one from Anthony Pantazopoulos, important part of his armoury. Sapsford won the initial header. Here's Gabriel Clerc. It's going to be a corner off Costa. To the final minute of the first half, chance for the Wanderers to get back square before the break.
Maybe just tried to be a little too cute there. Just say 30 seconds left in the half. Just get that up a little bit.
They've got some aerial threats. Wanderers, Jonte Wookis, a tall customer. Bonatig is up there as well. Volley clear by Popovic. Reset through Gabriel Clerc. Nice control from Sapsford. Good challenge from Segacic. Still, the Wanderers have a throw.
The fourth official has announced there will be a minimum of 6 minutes of time.
6 minutes to be added for that lengthy stoppage for treatment to Andrew Redmayne at the end of the first half. And one or two other stoppages, of course, for various skirmishes. This is Bonatig. Sapsford trying to help it on. No real power. I guess it's in those moments, Macca, that I wonder about the face mask. When you're looking to bring the ball flush onto the forehead to head the ball towards goal with pace.
Well, he doesn't seem to be that concerned, and he's just trying to have a look there. I think it's cut away on the forehead, so...
We're going to bring them back for the throw. Centre just got collected by Ozidar Kraev. A occasional hazard for that part of the pitch.
Well, I was going to say he's very good as well of putting his body. It's a very good trait to have. He puts his body between ball and defender and says, well, if you're going to come in, you're going to collect me, it's going to be a foul.
He's been on lighter training duties during the international window. Various knocks picked up. Particularly one against MacArthur. Redmayne to go across field. Lolly. Slipped. Jonte Wookis could have proved costly. They have credit to it. He adjusted well. Shikluna almost got caught in possession by Costa. Wanderers are through that press by hook or by crook. That's not a bad ball, that. Pantazopoulos, and Varela was onto it.
Yeah, it was a great ball, wasn't it? Good vision. He hit it sweetly, and then Varela was off. And Gerd was struggling, got caught underneath it. It was just a little too heavy.
Attention switches to the other end. Courtney Perkins. Caceres. Senna. Courtney Perkins to swing in the cross. Pantazopoulos up, but not necessarily away. Popovic and a real scrap with Barello, but the ball breaks here for the Wanderers, and they're 2-on-1 defensively. Can they make this pay? It's Sapsford at the back post. He can! He's done it again! In front of the Cove, Zach Sapsford. This derby just made for him, and again it's in front of the Cove. 1-1 in first half stoppage time.
Well, they fired a warning earlier with a fast break, and Joe Lolly got back and snuffed that one out, but it wasn't to be this time. On the Harvey Norman replay, they win the ball and get it out wide quickly, and look at Sapsford, he's just staying away, waiting for his time. He points, wonderful pinpoint pass from Milanovic, and he tucks it away in the near post, and the sucker punch is there. Great counter-attacking football from Western Sydney Wanderers.
Well, Zach Sapsford has only scored 4 A-League goals, and 3 of them have come against Sydney FC, the club where he started his junior career. And he enjoyed those celebrations. And credit too to Nicholas Milanovic for a pinpoint assist. His season continues to get better and better.
Well, we spoke about Nicholas Milanovic and his numbers from last season, and he's starting to rack them up here with goals and assists again this season, and he must be on the radar for the conversations around Socceroos.
Sydney stunned. Could they hit back with 30 seconds of stoppage time at the end of the first half to go? Well, his ball in low was a dangerous one. Well defended by Jong Tae-wook. Caceres drifting into the box, brilliantly done. Before Bonatic put a stop to it. It's a derby that's had a bit of everything this first half.
Well, it's definitely been entertaining. Some good football, a little bit of fire in it. Those sets of fans cheering their teams on.
Is there a final twist at the end of the first half? Lolly held up. Deep into the 52nd minute. Caceres looking for Klimala. Oh, and a collision between the Sydney striker and Lawrence Thomas. Which may well have been accidental, but was certainly painful. Both goalkeepers have been in the wars in this first half.
Well, it was a wonderful ball for Caceres. Lawrence Thomas does very well to come out. To be fair to Patrick Klimala, I think he's just pushed off balance. Andazopoulos. There's definitely no intention there, but both keepers putting their body on the line.
Klimala trying to protect himself, isn't he, from the inevitable collision. But it's the Wanderers fans who are singing the loudest as the first half draws to a close. Alan Stagic's team coming from behind, as of course they did in round 1. Ultimately, Sydney had the final say. That is the end of the first half. The build-up has been dominated by golf gates. Nothing below par about this first half, though. Joe Lolly with the golf swing celebration after he opened the scoring. And then Zach Sapsford in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time with the equaliser. Lots more to come in this one. Great game so far. At the break, Sydney FC 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 1.
Someone come save your This year's Alex Tobin medal is brought to you by Isuzu UTE. The winner of the prestigious award will win their choice of a brand new top-of-the-range Isuzu D-Max or 7-seat MUX. Plus, the Isuzu UTE Alex Tobin medalist will nominate a junior football club to win $10,000. Make sure you're watching this season's grand final when the winning player and club will be revealed.
Hello there, welcome back to Allianz Arena. Nothing separates these two teams tonight, just like these turtles. Oh no, Raphael won. Red turtle wins tonight. What does that say about the derby?
Not much.
That's the red side, isn't it?
That's been entertaining. The first half's been entertaining. It's been a real derby atmosphere, hasn't it?
That's it. I tell you what we expected from this derby was Joe Lolly got off the mark in the last one. He's back to back. and Sapsford just does what Sapsford does in Derby.
He just loves scoring against Sydney FC, doesn't he? Look, it was a great half of football. This guy in particular was getting involved a lot around the right-hand side. Himself, Caceres, Joe Lolly were starting to make this little triumphant together, mopping the ball around, looking comfortable, moving it around, and Joe Lolly running off him and creating spaces as well for each other. Looking good. Sydney FC supporters will be glad that they've got these players back in, but Western Sydney with the stinging tail at the end gave them something to talk about at half-time.
Yeah, you're dead right. Look, there's a second half coming up. It's exciting. It's like the Thunderdome. No one wants a draw. Second half is 1 minute away.
Isuzu D-Max is reinvigorated and ready for life. No matter where you are taking it, go your own way.
Well, Joe Lolly got Sydney FC onto a flyer in this, the 39 Sydney derby. Western Sydney Wanderers striking back through the masked man, Zach Sapsford, who's made something of a habit of scoring in this fixture. We never actually had a draw between these two in the 4 games played at the new Allianz. Maybe that's going to happen tonight. And news of a change at the break for Sydney FC. Douglas Costa, just back from that hamstring problem, of course, and booked in the first half, will not reappear for the second, and Anas Wahim is on in his place. Now, Isuzu Mini D-Max re-delivering the match ball. Heading in the direction of match referee Daniel Elder, who's handled a rather combustible derby at times very well indeed. I think even at my age I'd like one of those. Beautiful setting at the rebuilt Allianz Stadium. It's been nice warm weather in Sydney today as well. A lot of the fans who came earlier for Adelaide's 3-2 win over Brisbane have stayed, maybe to get their first taste of the Sydney derby, and I'm sure they have not been disappointed. So Sydney FC with Anas Wahim on for Douglas Costa. Get the ball rolling again for the second half. If it's anything like the first, then we should be in for a treat. Immediately the tackles start flying in. It's been that way throughout. It breaks here for Anas Wahim, fresh off the bench. Courtney Perkins turning it back for Caceres. Back with Courtney Perkins. He's going to have a go here. One back by Senna. Good start to the second half by the Sky Blues, attacking the Cove end of the ground. Work back through Caceres. Sakic claiming he was being held. Maybe Daniel Elder just playing the advantage there, with Sydney still in control of the ball. Little skid on the surface by Leo Senna. Again, the throw to the ground is a little theatrical, but there was some contact there from Priestman. It's a little bit over-egged by the Brazilian.
a little bit.
He's trying to be kind.
Well, I think he's not the only one tonight, is he? It's probably milked the free kicks for what they're worth.
There's confirmation of that change made by Buildup at the break. Certainly don't lose too much by bringing on Anas Wahim. He's shown already that he's going to be able to hack it in the A-League. It's his free kick, and Sydney hit the front once again. Jordan Courtney Perkins runs to accept the acclaim of the Cove. Sydney lead it 2-1.
Well, no emotion from Buildup, but what a ball that was. Half time, Douglas Costa comes off. It's not a bad replacement. You said it, Simon. Anas Wahim. On the Harvey Norman replay, look at the tail on that ball. It's just begging for someone to get on the end of it. And Courtney Perkins gets the right side of his defender and gets on the end of it. And they finished the first half by conceding, or they've come out firing in the second, Sydney FC, and regain the lead.
That is just a beautiful free kick, isn't it?
Absolutely fantastic. The technique, the way he struck the ball to bend it with tail on the end. He was just begging for someone to get a touch on the end.
It's only his 5th goal in the A-League. It's his first of the season for Sydney FC. He did score 4 though in pre-season. He even scored for the A-League All-Stars against Newcastle United at the back end of last season, so he's no stranger to the scoring charts. And the Wanderers have it all to do again. Have a look at that delivery, it's just perfect.
And credit to Courtney Perkins as well. He out-muscled his defender, got goal side, and got the telling touch.
Wahim, the architect, throwing off Milanovic. Today for Sydney would take level on points with Melbourne City and Auckland on 9. Slightly behind both in terms of goal difference, which is back being the main differentiator this season. Much to most people's relief, I suggest. Wahib. Caceres. Segatic going down off the ball. All coming together. Sydney getting the passing going once again. Segatic had a hold of Priestman's jersey. Can't do that. They've settled much the quicker of the two in the second half, Sydney FC.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Buildup would have had a few choice words with the way they finished that first half. There's a man that could be an influence in this second half for Western Sydney.
Marquee man, Juan Mata, of course. There's the AS Live ladder. Sydney would move into 5th if they were to win here today. Higher if the score was to really blow out.
Well, it's only early days in the season, but only 1 point separating the top 5 if it was to stay this way.
Auckland, of course, with a game or 2 in hand on most of the teams around them. Play 3-1-3. They're in action here tomorrow against Macarthur in the final game of Unite rounds. Wellington Melbourne victory to precede that. Wahim's had a real impact off the bench already. Here's Courtney Perkins. Shifted wide right by Senna. Lolly pushing it forward for Grant. In comes the cross. Up but not away by John Tae-wook. Oh, now is that going to be a penalty? Yes. Pantazopoulos dangled out a leg and didn't seem to make any contact with the ball. And Sydney could have a 2-goal advantage very shortly.
Well, he just had no idea that Ryan Grant was slipping in behind him. You could see it unfolding from our angle in slow motion. He just nipped the cross out of his blind side, Ryan Grant, and gets there first. And the big swing just brings him down. And that's experience from Ryan Grant. He reacted quickest, came on the blind side. And there's little doubt on that one.
Well, Anas Wahib, who set up Sydney's second goal, has now taken the responsibility from the penalty spots. He's 1 out of 2 from the spot. He did score against Oakley Cannons in the Australia Cup from 11 metres. This is a big moment in this derby. Wanderers fans praying Lawrence Thomas can pull off a save here. Just a slight delay. Raheem re-spotting the ball. Lawrence Thomas told to go back on his line. This is all mind games. Players told to stay outside the box. Raheem a little skip and a jump and finds the bottom corner, and Sydney lead 3-1. What an impact off the bench. Anas Wahib, 1 assist and now 1 goal, and Sydney are 3-1 to the good.
Well, he was made to wait a long time, wasn't he? Always to be a nervous wait. But it had no effect on him. He has been sublime. 8 minutes in this second half, an assist and a goal. Here's another look on the Harvey Norman replay. Pantazopoulos just didn't see Ryan Grant coming.
And he
knew straight away. And after waiting a long time, cool as you like, and that's why he tucks it away.
It's his first A-League goal for Sydney.
Now we see a bit of a reaction from Ufuk Talay. I'm sure after the first one went in this second half, he was still probably seething from his half-time talk. Now the smile is there. And can they go on with it?
More pertinently for the Wanderers, Macca, what do they do now?
Yeah.
Do they go to Juan Mata on the bench?
I'm sure there's plenty of Western Sydney Wanderers fans out there saying, well, he's the obvious choice, isn't he?
Nicholas Milanovic allowed to take the free kick quickly enough for his liking, and Adrian Segicic has been booked for not retreating the 10 metres quickly enough.
Fair enough. Well, you could be moving backwards, but you can't be standing still. So.
The Wanderers have got to scamper back sharpish here. That will help. A ball slightly behind Segicic. Oh, now Milanovic. He's going to get a booking. Chopping into Jordan Courtney-Perkins. Just pure frustration, I think, on the behalf of Nicholas Milanovic.
Yeah, well, he was never going to get there, was he? I think you're right. A bit of frustration. The goal just before half-time would have had them up and bubbly, and then all of a sudden, 8 minutes into the second half, and they find themselves 3-1 down. They need a reaction.
I think Courtney-Perkins saw him coming, didn't he? And knifed out of the way. Now, we did speculate whether we might get to see Juan Mata. Looks like it's going to be a triple change. In fact, even 4. Jack Clisby, Aidan Hammond, Marcus Anderton and Juan Mata have all been sent for. Alan Stajic is not messing around, Macca.
Well, he obviously hasn't seen what he wanted to see in this second half, and there's no time like the present. It's not happening. It's got to be changed.
Here comes the quartet of changes. Goal scorer Zach Sapsford is one of those to make way. A few boos around the ground for that. From Wanderers fans. Milanovic has also had his number called. Aidan Hammond, who scored in the last derby, of course, to come off, and Oscar Priestman to make way for the arrival of the marquee man, Juan Mata. So all change for Western Sydney. Will it bring about a change in fortunes for Alan Stajic's team?
I'm trying to recollect a time where I can think of a 4-sub change in one go.
By the way, those boos, I'm sure, were from Sydney FC fans, given that he's scored against them again. But all to no avail, for now at least. Bonatig, Shikluna, shut down immediately by Segicic. It's going to be a Wanderers throw. Tantazopoulos has now come across to right back with Jack Clisby on his more favoured left-hand side. Hammond will operate down the right flank. He's got plenty about him, of course, as we saw in round one. A card issued to Alan Stajic here. Pure frustration on behalf of the Wanderers.
To be careful, sorry Simon, they have to be careful here that they don't let the frustrations boil over. Still plenty of time in this match to turn this around.
Yep, still half an hour plus stoppages to go. Telling Sydney to get on with it. By and large, he's most of the decisions right tonight.
Yeah, I think he's having a good game. Controlled the moments that could have flared out of control. Just kept the lid on things, but also let them play.
Not able to link up with Borello, and instead it's Joe Lolly. Clisby turned back by Kryev, all the way back through Lawrence Thomas. Tantazopoulos, good first time ball for Aidan Hammond. He's just run the ball over the sideline. Under pressure from Caceres, it must be said too. Hammond. Here's Mata. Kryev. They're two over on the left-hand side. Here's Clisby. They're queuing up for the Wanderers. They'll get a corner. It might have been more.
That was nice football, wasn't it? Play from one side to the other, 1- and 2-touch football.
Short for Mata, clips it in. Up the chance of the back post with Borello, couldn't quite reach it. taken on the half volley by Hammond. It's awkward for Redmayne. Solid enough take in the end. And a bit of a response from the Wanderers.
Yeah. Just a little glimmer there of what they can do. Some desperate defending from Sydney FC and Aaron Gerd.
Good feet from Lolly. Likewise by Senna. Courtney Perkins really had to go some to keep it going. Great read by Anthony Caceres. Courtney Perkins. Wahib. Lolly. Grant going around the outsides. Here is Ryan Grant. Nobody there for the cutback. Bar Juan Mata, but one back by Lolly. Wahib. Sydney looking to put the game to bed once and for all. Wahib threads it through. It's Segatic on the turn. That was great football from Sydney.
Well, gee, Anas Wahib's good on the ball, isn't he? So comfortable. Change of direction. Using both feet. You see Juan Mata just too much on the touch. But look at all the black shirts. And then they just stop. And he thinks, well, all right, well, if you're going to step off me, I'll go again. It's a lovely ball in. Segacic able to get it out of his feet.
Slight delay. And Welder just calming things down. Now we're ready for Anas Wahim's corner. Just doesn't get past first base. It's run back by Mata, but straight to Wahim. The Wanderers are back under pressure. Now they can break. And Hammond is away on the right if they can find him. Slowed up slightly. Here's Kraev. It's Bozidar Kraev. And he had Clisby on the left. And Hammond on the right. And it just didn't quite work out for the Wanderers.
Well, there was two opportunities, wasn't there? First, it was here. Hammond was away on the right and free. And as it fell again, and Kraev comes to the left-hand side, Clisby was overlapping, and you were just thinking, hold it up, hold it up. Chose to take the strike instead.
Across the back post. Borrello does well to reach that and bring the ball down. Oh, Mata was waiting to pull the trigger. Hammond might. Got the angles horribly wrong. Alan Stajic with a face like thunder.
Well, you just look at that there with Anderson and you're thinking, why Mata's facing goal, teeing up to have a strike, and you've stepped in with your back to goal and taken it off him.
Mistake by Popovic. Shikluna. Another corner for Western Sydney. They're starting to mount a bit of a charge.
There's definitely been a response.
Tap short for Mata. Antonsen got a little piece of it. Hammonds. Western Sydney being driven all the way back to Lawrence Thomas. It's heavy off the chest of Shikluna. Four consecutive derby wins within sight for Sydney FC. Will equal the record in this fixture set a few years ago by the Sky Blues. as we're about to see. Dramatic late comeback in the final quarter of the game from the red and black. Reminder, tomorrow, Unite round continues. Wellington Phoenix against Melbourne Victory. And then MacArthur against Auckland to follow. Anthony Pantazopoulos, who's had a bit of a mixed afternoon, or evening I should say, replaced by Dean Pelikanos. It was he who gave away the penalty, of course, with the foul on Ryan Grant. Dean Pelikanos on for just his second A-League game, and the first also came against Sydney in round one. Good. Marlon diverting the ball towards Courtney Perkins. Senna. Caceres. Good for Kamala. Strong but fair challenge by Shikluna. And the Wanderers are away here again. 4-on-2 if they can find the right ball. It drops here for Mata. Clisby. Back post is Brandon Borrello. Courtney Perkins down injured. Bravely heading the ball away. And again, a really good situation, but the Wanderers have squandered it.
There's been a number of occasions now where they've shifted that ball from the right side to the left and then got a delivery in. As we see here, Brandon Borrello coming late. This catches Courtney Perkins as he clears that ball.
Well, one of the goal scorers, with his golfing buddy, Joe Lolly. Sydney FC should be thinking, well, we'll make that a regular thing before a derby. This is what happens afterwards.
To work.
Maybe the Wanderers will be less eager. Marcus Antonsen and Juan Mata on the course that day, representing the red and black. Here is Mata. Too far in front of Priev, who then commits the foul. Statue still looking for answers. Wanderers still have 20 minutes plus stoppages to find them. Fourth goal would surely take it out of their reach. Here's Hammond. He's done well to get the better of Courtney Perkins. Needs a bit of help though. Mata. Foul by Wahim. Shikluna. Bonneting. Switch towards Dylan Shikluna. There's a gap there for Jack Clisby, and they find it nicely. Priev is in position at the near post. It's another corner off Grant.
And that's that same movement, isn't it? From the right-hand side through midfield, out to the left. Clisby with the cross.
Jack Clisby to deliver. Almost went through everybody, and it's still there. In the end, fired wide by Marcus Antonsson, who wants a corner, but is going to be disappointed. Oh, I think he's got a point.
Well, he has got a point. That was on target. And Gerd got the foot out and got away with one.
Well, they've not missed much tonight, the officials, but they did miss that one. Last time for time wasting. Message is clear for Andrew Redmayne.
Well, it only started in the 60th minute, so he's given him 12 minutes warning.
Here's Aaron Gerd, who's barely put a foot wrong on his return to Sydney's first team. And he didn't in that last movement either, but maybe a bit fortunate not to concede a corner. Driving forward is Klimala, seen out by John Tae-wook.
Well, there were a few raised eyebrows, weren't they, that Aaron Gerd got the start tonight. A lot of people thought Courtney Perkins might slip into that position and Joel King would come at left back, but he's been fantastic. The question will be is, next week, will he hold his spot?
Nice problem for Ufuntele to have. Sent forward by Mata. Kraev trying to get between Gerd and Grant. Without success. Lolly gets the throw off Clisby. I don't know how much petrol Joe Lolly has in the tank after his layoff with injury. Sucking in a few big ones.
Well, I think there's been a few players from both teams who have had little niggles, who have not done the full training over the course of the last 2 weeks.
Given away carelessly by Grant. Can the Wanderers make them pay this time? It's yet another corner. And Alex Popovic to the rescue for the Sky Blues. The Wanderers trying to mount a real charge. Clisby. Clip to Wanderers players on the way through. It's going to be a Sydney FC throw. Came off Marcus Antonsson last, who's been a bit on the periphery at the start of this season. Played just 51 minutes off the bench under Alan Stajic before his involvement this evening. He's actually scored for the Wanderers since New Year's Day, when he got one in the win over MacArthur. One would be very handy from the Swede for Stajic this evening. Quarter of an hour to go, Macca. Do you sense a Wanderers comeback or not?
Well, look, they've shown on a number of occasions they can move that ball through the Sydney defence and get dangerous balls into the box. All it takes is for one of them, and then all of a sudden a little bit of nervousness can sit in for Sydney FC, and we've seen crazier things happen. There's plenty of time left.
By the way, Sydney FC have conceded 3 goals already this season in the final quarter of an hour of A-League matches, including, of course, that stoppage time goal in the last home game against MacArthur, which denied them a point. They played the final half an hour or so with 10 men. It was longer than that, wasn't it? And Hayden Matthews was sent off.
Yeah, I think it was a good half an hour, wasn't it?
moment, they have the Wanderers where they want them. Klimala. Hammond for Western Sydney. Infringement on Mata.
Well, just to clear it up, Simon, it was just 45th minute.
Yeah, I thought it was longer than half an hour. To be fair to Sydney that day, they were pushing for a winner.
Yeah, they were.
Just got caught on the counter, didn't they? Steadied down by Pelikanos. Bonatig. Mata. Shikluda. Pelikanos. Nice release. Some space here for Clisby. Kraev alongside him. It's Bozidar Kraev. And it just will not go in for Western Sydney Wanderers. They force a succession of corners, but it's goals they need.
And it's the same routine again, isn't it? Get it out to that left. Clisby with the cross. Kraev with the opportunity on that occasion.
Mata's corner. And they've got a goal now. 3-2. Marcus Antonsson breaks his long-scoring drought. And we've got a derby on our hands once again with 12 minutes plus stoppages to go.
Well, you said it, Simon. Now would be the time for Antonsson to break the drought. On the Harvey Norman replay, it's a wonderful ball in from Juan Mata. And Antonsson just drifts into that 6-yard area, free header. Nothing Andrew Redmayne can do about it. And all of a sudden, it's game on again.
And what were we saying about those golfing buddies?
Well, there's a few more to get. Another goal. Well, it was Mata with the assist. As we see a substitution for Sydney FC.
Yeah, Corey Holman is going to make his comeback from injury, and perhaps predictably Joe Lolly hasn't been able to last out the 90 minutes, but he's had a really good game tonight.
He has. It's been fantastic. First half, got himself a goal. Caused all kinds of problems. There was a celebration that I'm sure will be shown in the highlight reels for times to come.
First A-League game of the season for Corey Holman. His last league action was here at Allianz when he was sent off in the first leg of the semi-final last year against the Mariners. Good's got to get back to his feet pretty quickly. Wanderers smelling an opportunity here.
You just sense a little bit of urgency now, don't you? You said there was plenty of time. Well, only the one goal in it, 10 minutes, regular time to play.
Osman in full swing behind that goal away to our rights. Wheeled in by Mata, John Taywalk. Really set for a grandstand finale now. What is Sydney's mindset now?
Well, with Lolly coming off and Holman going on, maybe a little bit of pragmatism there.
Shikluna's lost out to Caceres though. It's beyond Klimala.
Hasn't really got going tonight, Klimala, has he? Seems to be a little bit off kilter with his teammates. Making one run, they're expecting the other.
I just wonder whether Tallow may be considering Jaden Kucharski for the last 10 minutes. Bit of fresh energy up there.
He certainly delivers that, doesn't he? Usually delivers some ecstatic moments as well.
Of course, he's got to bear in mind that they're off to Hong Kong to play in the Asian Champions League too. He's got to save some energy for that game as well. This is why he had such an impact at the outset of the second half. Here is Klimala all the way through. Surely that's game over. Patrick Klimala, just as we were writing him off, scores Sydney FC's 4th goal, and the Wanderers' comeback is crushed.
Well, it's the commentator's curse in reverse. And doesn't he love it? Well, what about the contribution from Anas Waheem to lay it on? Wonderful strength, balance, poise, and the pass.
Two derbies, 2 goals for Patrick Klimala. He wants to join in with the celebrations. They've not won it yet, but they've just taken a big step towards it. And another lovely assist by Waheem.
Yeah, and fair play to Klimala as well. He was under heavy pressure. But have a look at this here. He's away. You think Barello, who's a strong player as well, comes in, gives him a shove off balance, but look at the weight of the pass there, right into the path of Klimala, who had to show strength as well. And he bumps Clisby off and thunders it into the back of the net, and you would think that that's all over. 7 minutes left on the clock, and doesn't he love it?
He just had a little glance at the linesman just to make sure that he was onside before he headed off to celebrate with the Cove. But 3 and 5 is a pretty decent return from your centre forward.
And if you can sit there and talk about your 9, you haven't seen him, and then he pops up and scores a goal that seals the deal, well, we'll take that.
And it was just at the point, Macca, when you sense that the Wanderers were feeling they could get something out of this game.
Yeah, well, they'd had a couple of opportunities, particularly down that left-hand side. Just couldn't quite find something. Then Antonsen finally got there, and there was this buzz and energy, and you thought, here they come. Well, that's been snuffed out. And it's the Cove you can hear singing now.
Sights and sounds of Derby Day in Sydney. That's not done just yet. Answer to reach out and grab that one. Clipped forward by Bonatig. Mata. Bit of space for Barello. Oh, Cryer didn't read that at all. They've been in some really good field positions, the Wanderers.
Yeah, they have. They have. On that occasion, I think Cryer thought that Barello was going to take a touch and maybe have a strike. Seemed to have the space.
The contrasting emotions of Derby Day. See Jayden Kucharski introduced very shortly. Mata. Shikluna. Too high for Clisby. Here's that change for Sydney. It's going to be Adrian Segicic who will give way for the introduction of Jayden Kucharski, formerly a Derby hero at this parish in the 98th minute last season, no less.
Well, I was going to say there's 3.5 minutes of regular time. That's way more than Kucharski needs to give us something electrifying. And he says bravo to Segicic. He's been good tonight as well for Sydney FC.
Yeah, he's worked very hard, hasn't he, Adrian Segicic, and put on a peach of a ball for the opening goal. Even if he won't officially claim an assist. Looks like it's going to be Sydney's day once again.
That'll make it 5 out of 6, won't it, Simon?
And 4 straight.
Yeah.
Marcus Antonsen, who thought he'd given his team hope. Hammond. He's got past 2 defenders and found the cross somehow. The deflection always favouring Redmayne. It's been a gripping derby. One of the best in recent memory.
Oh yeah, it's been thoroughly entertaining. Just when you thought Sydney were running away with it. Back come the Wanderers just before half-time. They go again. Sydney surge back at them again, but it's been a pulsating affair.
Bonatic. Rolled over by Kucharski. That lady hasn't quite started to sing just yet, but she's certainly in the green room warming up. The Wanderers need a goal. And quickly. Youngsters in the ground, maybe getting their first taste of the derby. I'm sure they'll be back for more. Kamala getting the better of John Taywalk, but showing too much ambition to go on and make the scoreline even more emphatic. Sydney throw.
Minimum of 5 minutes at a time.
And we tick over into the first of 5 additional minutes. By the way, the biggest aggregate number of goals in a derby is 7. Back in 2015 in Parramatta, which Sydney won by 4-3, so only 1 goal off equaling that. And the late change here for Sydney FC. One of the goal scorers, Patrick Klimala, to give way. And Sydney's very exciting young talent, Tiago Quintal, to come on and get a taste of the derby.
Huge raps on this young man. He's shown us glimpses already of his undoubted quality.
Holman. This time ball by Grants. Clisby dispossessed and there's no foul. Quintal quickly into the game. Wahib. Holman. Kucharski! I don't believe it. He has done it again. Not quite the 98th minute this time, but the 92nd, late enough, and Sydney have 5. And all you can say is wow.
Well, it's written in stone, isn't it? Jayden Kucharski, just give him 5 minutes, he'll give you a goal. And who was it that won the ball originally on the far side? The young man who only just came on, Thiago Quintal. In the Harvey Norman replay, this man, Anas Wahim, has been in the heart of everything in the second half as well. And as it fell to Kucharski, from our angle, you could just see there was no other outcome. Lovely little play, improvisation, and it's an intelligent header from Holman to pick out Kucharski. And it's celebrations all round, wonderful technique, and just tucks it away. He loves burying him in that corner, doesn't he?
Well, 3 substitutes combining there. That's a sort of strength in depth that Ufuk Talay has, and some of the dance moves as well. And I can tell you, as Sydney celebrate, a lot of the Wanderers fans have made for the exits. They've seen enough.
Well, there's your 7-goal aggregate, Simon.
Meantime, we're going to have an on-field review here. As to whether the ball, I was going to say had gone out, but no, maybe there's a foul here by Thiago Quintal. All those celebrations might be for nothing here.
Well, it's going to be a foul, isn't it?
Is there enough for Daniel Elder to overrule it and stick with his on-field decision, or does he change his mind? Yeah, it looks like a foul, doesn't it?
He just hooks the right foot of Clisby, doesn't he? I don't think he gets the ball.
Here we go, we're about to find out.
Before the goal, there was a foul by number 20. The goal is cancelled. The restart is a direct free kick.
Well, there we go. It won't change the result of this game, but it does cut short those celebrations and those storylines about Jayden Kucharski. Spoil sports VAR, aren't they?
Aren't they? But wait, there's still time.
And in fairness, in the end, it's probably the right decision.
Oh, it is the right decision, yeah.
Official crowd here tonight, by the way, 30,777. Terrific support.
They've been very vocal as well. Half an hour before kickoff, as I said earlier, down on pitch side, could not hear Tristan McManus just a metre away from him. Wonderful atmosphere created tonight from both sets of supporters.
A few of the Wanderers fans have exited stage right. The team has given it a red-hot go tonight. What's been the difference in the end? Just that extra bit of quality for Sydney, or the lack of proper execution from the Wanderers?
Yeah, I think when you have a player like Anas Wahim who comes off the bench at half-time, and you look at the depth of the Sydney bench, there's quality all through it. It has been the difference. Western Sydney, you're right in saying it, Simon, have created opportunities. That final cross, final delivery, couldn't quite find the mark on a number of occasions, but they have pressed, they've been close, but I think the depth for Sydney FC has just been too good.
And there we go, that whistle confirms that once again Sydney is sky blue for the 4th consecutive derby, equalling the record in this fixture and leaving the Wanderers once again searching for answers. A big win for Sydney at the start of another busy week. Disappointment for the red and black, who'll get one more chance to end this run of losses to their greatest foes this season. They gave it a good go tonight. They were all square at the break after Joe Lolley had put Sydney in front. Zach Sapsford inevitably with the equaliser. But in the second half, Sydney came out firing. Anas Wahim, an inspired change. He created Sydney's second goal for Jordan Courtney-Perkins, then scored the third from the spot after Ryan Grant had been fouled. And then after Marcus Antonsen had threatened to make it a much closer finale, Patrick Klimala made it 4-2. Jayden Kaczarski thought he'd made it 5, only for VAR to intervene. And at the end of it all, Sydney are all smiles. They move back into the top 6 and on to Hong Kong for the Asian Champions League 2 against Eastern on Thursday. But local pride goes the way of Sydney tonight. Sydney FC 4, Western Sydney Wanderers 2. A great derby.